This video is in response to some great questions from some of you who, like us, travel to our country of birth as dual citizens. If you have ever wondered whether you need a visa on your US passport or what passport to use when exiting and re-entering the US as an African immigrant, then you are in the right place.
We would also share what you should know if you are from some African countries that do not recognize dual citizenship, because getting this wrong can cause serious problems for you.
Welcome back to Cash Talk for Immigrants, where we share our stories to help you avoid our financial mistakes and build generational wealth. If you are a dual citizen, this video will clear up the confusion about which passport to use when traveling. But please note that we are not immigration lawyers.
No.
We are just sharing from our own experiences.
Exactly.
And trust me, getting this wrong can cause unnecessary stress. If this is the first time you're seeing my face, my name remains Christine, and I am here as usual with my beloved
Wachuku, Vidal, Wachuku. So let's start with what we would call the golden rule for dual citizens. However, before we continue, let's reiterate clearly the disclaimer that we are not immigration attorneys. So this is not professional advice that we are giving. If you want professional advice, please consult your lawyer or your immigration attorney, okay? Now, a dual citizen means a person who holds the passport of two countries. And by the way, this video will also help you determine whether you are a dual citizen, because some people don't even know that they might be dual citizens. So a dual citizen means that you're a citizen of two countries. In this case, your African country and the United States of America, right? The first thing to understand is that as a dual citizen, each country sees you as their citizen, not a foreigner. When you're in the US, and in fact, anywhere you are in the world, the government of the US expects you to act as a US citizen and fulfill all your obligations as such. The only place they will not interfere with is if you're in your country of birth, because they give that priority because you're in a country of birth. But anywhere else, you are expected to carry yourself like a US citizen. It also means you must use your US passport to leave and re-enter the country. No exceptions.
That means you book your flight ticket with your US passport and leave the US using your US passport. But what happens when you get to your country of birth? Let's say Nigeria. Nigeria considers you a Nigerian. So when you land, you should present your Nigerian passport on which they will stamp SOA, seen on arrival. Remember that because you are Nigerian also, you do not need a visa to enter your country. Now, when you are returning to the US, in our case, because Nigeria sees me as a Nigerian traveling to the US, I need a US visa on my Nigerian passport.
Absolutely.
But because I am also a US citizen, I present my US passport to immigration to show that US is equally my country and I don't need a visa to enter it. This is what allows me board my flight to the US without any wahala.
Exactly. So what that means is that when you are flying back to the US, you need to show your US passport at the airline check-in counter. Right? Because that is what proves you can legally enter the US without a visa. You also first show your US passport to the Nigerian immigration when they ask for it. It is after that they will ask you for your Nigerian passport on which they will stamp SOD. What we are describing right now is what we went through.
Yes.
Right? There was stamp seen on departure on your Nigerian passport. Recall that when you arrived, they had also stamped SOA with a date on the same Nigerian passport, showing they had seen you coming into Nigeria. And when you land in the US or any connecting country, the only passport you show going forward after leaving Nigeria is your US passport.
Yeah.
That's what you present also at US immigration, because it is the primary facial proof that you are a citizen.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did. And it shows that we did not need a visa to enter the US. When we got to the US, we didn't even bring out Nigerian passport at all. Note that your Nigerian passport is of no further use when once you leave Nigeria. If you present it thereafter, then it must have a US visa, because you are telling immigration that you're a Nigerian citizen and must show a US visa to enter the country. In fact, that other country, connecting country, will not let you board the flight to go to the US.
Exactly.
If you present your Nigerian passport that does not have a US visa.
Exactly.
That is why the only thing you present is your US passport. That is your visa. YouTube tells us that 91% of you watching are not subscribed. Why now? You know, your subscription, by you subscribing and liking these videos, it gives YouTube the gumption to be able to show these videos to others. That is how others get to know about it. So they will show it to a wider audience when you subscribe and like it. So you are not only showing us some love, you are also being your brother's keeper. You are helping to let other people see this video. Imagine a whole 91%. If 20 more percent of you were subscribed, can you imagine the audience that will get to see it? Or 50, or the entire 91%.
Exactly.
This video will go viral. People will see it and learn from it.
And
so
more of our videos will be shown to other people.
So please, let's be our brother's keeper. Subscribe.
Another common question is whether dual citizens need a visa to enter Nigeria on a US passport. Now, listen carefully. If you only have a US passport, yes, you will need a Nigerian visa. Why? Anytime you present your US passport, you are telling whoever you're giving it to that you are a US citizen. And because there is presently no visa-free reciprocity between Nigeria and the US, citizens of either country require a visa to enter that the other's country. I remember that due to the frustration we always encounter going to Atlanta to renew our Nigerian passport, I had told him the last time that once my Nigerian passport expires, I will never return to Atlanta to renew it because the wahala is just too much.
Just too much. A nightmare.
Yes. So I will just get a visa on my US passport to visit Nigeria. What that means is that I will only visit Nigeria as a US citizen, as a foreigner, not as a Nigerian.
Okay. Now, another possible question is whether the immigration of all countries actually check your passport when you exit, or the passport you exit with. This is an interesting one, because many people assume immigration checks your passports when you leave a country, but that's not always the case. In some cases, like the US, it is really the airlines that verify your entry eligibility to the country you are going to, not necessarily immigration. On our last trip to Nigeria, we presented only our US passport at the airline desk for check-in. They then asked us where we were traveling to, and we answered Nigeria.
After inspecting our passports and fiddling with their computers, they informed us that we needed visas to enter Nigeria. But of course, we were even waiting for that. It was at this point that we presented our Nigerian passport to show that as citizens of Nigeria, we didn't need a visa to visit the country. Our passports were the visas.
Exactly.
So after inspecting it and running our passports through their system, they checked us in and returned both passports with our boarding passes. And that was it. We were not asked for our passports again until we got to our connecting country, where we showed only our Nigerian passport. Remember, we were telling them we want to board a flight in that connecting country to Abuja. So we had to show proof that we could enter Nigeria without visas. So that's why we showed the Nigerian passport.
Exactly. And that explains why, you recall, when we tried to check in online, we couldn't do it because we were using the details in our US passport to check in, to check in online.
Okay, we had booked.
We had already booked. So to check in. So because we were using that, we couldn't check in online. It kept on showing us error that we needed visas to where we were going to, because it clearly showed we were using US passport, you're going to Nigeria, so you need visas to go there. So it said we should check in at the counter rather than online. Now, some of you might also want to know how we left Nigeria. As I had stated earlier, we presented only our US passport at the airline check-in counter in Nigeria. Now, after going through them, they issued us our boarding passes, and that was it. They didn't ask for our Nigerian passports, nor did we voluntarily present same. It was at the immigration checkpoint. You see, Nigeria happens to be one of those countries where immigration checks your passport. So it was at that point that they checked our passport as we were leaving. And when they asked for it, we first presented our US passports. It was after they went through them, they asked if we had Nigerian passports. We then also presented our Nigerian passports. Our US passports, we are proof that though we were Nigerians, we do not need visas to enter the US because we are equally US citizens. So our US passports, we are like our visas to the US. Right? Now, an interesting question that someone may ask at this point is, how come we are or can be citizens of two countries at the same time? Because some people don't even know that is possible.
Yes. In our case, the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, as amended, allows Nigerians by birth to retain their citizenship, even if they acquire the citizenship of another country, unless, of course, they voluntarily renounce it. On the American side, the Supreme Court of the United States has stated that dual nationality is a status long recognized in the law, and that a person may have and exercise rights of nationality in two countries and be subject to the responsibilities of both.
So what this simply means is that the USA, being a country of immigrants itself, this is a country of immigrants, right? Technically and ordinarily permits dual and even triple citizenship.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
so you can be citizens of 3 different countries.
So long as the other countries allow it, the US has no problems with it. So the onus really is on the other countries. If they allow it, fine. If they don't allow it, then US can enforce their law.
Yes.
Because you are not allowed, the country does not allow it. Right? But because Nigeria's constitution allows it, any Nigerian by birth with US citizenship or British citizenship or any other citizenship can retain their Nigerian citizenship and thus become dual citizens.
Or triple citizens.
Or triple citizens, if another country also gives you citizenship. Again, such a person voluntarily decides, unless such a person voluntarily decides to relinquish either citizenship, he or she remains a citizen of the two countries. For instance, our daughter is married to an African American, and when she had her baby, she applied for Nigerian passports for them because the 1999 Constitution confers citizenship on any child, either of whose parents is Nigeria. So they automatically qualified. Exactly. And they were given passports without any questions.
Yes. Here is something many people don't realize. Not all African countries recognize or permit dual citizenship. From what we were able to find out from the internet, countries like Tanzania, Cameroon, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Liberia do not. Please confirm in the comments if you are from any of these countries and what you have found out about your country's position on this issue. But what this means is that, for example, you enter Tanzania with your Tanzanian passport. You may run into problems when you are leaving if you try to do so with your US passport.
Now, note that what we are saying here is as of today.
Yes.
We don't know what it will be tomorrow, okay? It's as of the time of making this video. Now, it also means that Tanzanian immigration will want to see a US visa on your Tanzanian passport when you are leaving to return to the US.
If Tanzania enforces it.
Of course.
That is
if they enforce it, they would want to see that. If they don't, they may allow you. Now, imagine getting stuck because your birth country doesn't see you as an American. This is why it's so important to know your country of birth's laws before you travel. To avoid surprises, please check your country's official immigration website or visit your nearest embassy before you embark on that trip.
This is even more important now with the changes in the US immigration policies. Imagine if the US decides to look more closely into such cases and decide they want to enforce them, right? So citizens of such countries may stand the risk of losing their US citizenship or making a decision either way if they continue to hold on to and use the passport of their countries of birth.
If those countries, of course, don't allow dual citizenship. So if your country doesn't allow it, you might want to only travel with your US passport. It's safer for you. Just get your home country's visa on it to avoid stories that touch the soul. Now is the time to ask yourself which country you really want to be aligned with or citizen of. Because no one knows tomorrow. An African proverb says that tomorrow is pregnant. No one knows what it will give birth to. We are where we are today. A lot of things happening today, nobody knew they were going to happen, even with immigration policies today. So you know what you went through to acquire your US citizenship. Do you therefore want to take avoidable chances? Listen, US citizenship is so valuable that even recently, President Trump offered $5 million, said people could pay $5 million to get US citizenship, certain categories, not everybody, of course, especially people with talent and everything that had the money. But at the end of the day, imagine, the call is yours, so be wise.
The key takeaway for all dual citizens whose country of birth permits it, always use your US passport to enter and leave the US. Presenting your country of birth passport at departure from the US and at a connecting country is only to prove you do not need a visa to enter your country of birth. Also, leave your country of birth with your US passport and present it at any connecting country.
But also at this point, let's quickly also say that if you are carrying this passport, the ECOWAS passport, you see it, it's ECOWAS passport, there it says Republic of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. It allows you to enter all 14 or 15 ECOWAS states. I don't know the number now, but it allows you to enter all of them without a visa, and you could stay for up to 90 days.
Okay. So that means if we wanted to go to Gambia from the US, we'll present our Nigerian ECOWAS passport as proof that we don't need visa to enter Gambia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if your African country doesn't allow citizenship, what if they don't? As we have mentioned or alluded to, if they don't allow dual citizenship, again, when traveling, obtain the visa of your country of birth on your US passport and use only your US passport for your entire trip, to and fro. Do not be penny wise and pound foolish by trying to avoid paying visa fees and taking the risk of running into uncharted waters. A word they say is enough for the wise.
This simple rule helps you avoid travel headaches and ensure smooth immigration processes. We hope this video has helped to clear up some confusion. If you have further questions, let us know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other dual citizens who need some clarity too.
Share. Remember, the more the merrier. The more people hear about this, the more we are spreading the good news, the more people are understanding and don't run into trouble. And if you have suggestions on videos you would like us to make, drop them in the comments. You know, we are open. We want to assist our community. So give us the ideas, and that's all. And we might very well cover those topics or subjects in future episodes. Stay informed, travel smart, and we'll see you in the next video.